Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Let's Talk About It podcast, where we turn conversation into application. I am your host, Leon Reed Jones, and today I got a very special guest with me. I met this guy at the podcast event, I want to say in July. And from the time I met him at the podcast event up until now, we had just been trying to, make this podcast episode happen, whether it was on his platform, my platform. But I'm glad we finally got it worked out. I bring to you guys none other than Mr. Calvin Nellum. What's going on, sir? How you doing, bro?
What's up, brother, man? Thank you so much for the nice intro, man. Got me feel like I'm special up in her.
For sure, man, for sure. So tell the people a little bit about yourself. Who is Calvin Nellum?
What's up, everybody? My name is Calvin Nellum, coming from the Calvin Nellum Podcast, and I just appreciate my brother, man, just giving me a lot of patience, because I've been on just, a lot of, I haven't been on time recently, and so I just really appreciate the brother, man, giving me patience. But Calvin Nellum, I'm you, honestly, man. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I grew up in a very just privileged household, but I have a lot of, grease, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm a loving person, and I just want people to just, what's the word I'm looking for? I was talking to my cousin about how I'm a huge J. Cole fan, and how I remember when J. Cole, before he was an A-list celebrity, he was a B-list celebrity, but during that time I was like, J. Cole, yeah, he's gonna be the next one. I was like, he's gonna be the, you know what I'm saying? And that's just me. I'm always the believer in the underdog, because I'm an underdog myself, and I'm always seeing the future in people, and I'm investing it before people believe in it, and that's just me. I'm literally the leader of the underdogs.
For sure, man. I like that. I like that term, the leader of the underdogs. And I actually saw when you posted it a few days ago at the J. Cole concert. Mm-hmm. You was going in. I'm like, yes, yeah, man,
it's real.
Cole is nice. I know. So that means you're gonna be at the concert with on the
Drake,
tour with Drake and J. Cole. Yeah, man.
I gotta get that. He's not coming to Detroit, but whoever's adjacent, I'm gonna try to get to that joint, man. I've been to every J. Cole concert since Born Center, and
that's crazy.
They've all been A+.
Man, no, J. Cole, I'm ready for the fall off. I ain't gonna lie. And the biggest reason why I say that is because somebody tweeted, a friend of mine tweeted the other day. He was like, bro, I would have never thought J. Cole and Drake get on back-to-back songs. I'm like, that's facts, because First Person Shooter was fire, and then you got Drake dropped Scary Hours 3 this past Friday.
Evil Ways.
Yeah, so I was like, sheesh, that is kind of crazy.
But you got to remember, also on Friday Night Lights, they did In the Morning. Yeah. And that's a classic, too. And so the chemistry has always been there. It's just dope that, they finally came out. So
why you say you're not ready for the fall off to drop?
Because, man, he going to retire, man. And it's just sad because, Cole, literally, going back to what I was saying, I was getting hate. I was like, he's on his meat, man. But no, it wasn't that. It was just because I don't know if you know, Born Center, that was his sophomore album. Right. If you know, everyone's sophomore album is their slump album. But he actually put in work. He read this book called The Artist's Way. This book is called The Artist's Way. It's for anyone who's a creator who come in writer's block, or they have issues with trying to get creative. And he really did the work in that book and made an album out of it. And just the aspect of being an intellectual, being a smart guy, using education to, get yourself to where you need to be. That's just amazing. My mom always taught me you don't got to be the coolest person, you got to have most money, but if you have an education, you're going to be able to move mountains and use your tools. And J. Cole's an aspect of that. And I just love people like that just use their mind. You know what I'm saying? Get to what they need to get to.
Yeah, no, that's facts, man. Cole, his albums, mixtapes, songs, whatever, is timeless. So I'm interested to see, how the fall off is going to be. And it's crazy. He said, I may not get the lyric 100% correct, but he, referenced the fall off in First Person Shooter. But he said something this is the name of my album, but I basically saying I ain't really fell off. So, Cole different, man. Cole can go missing for 3 months and then come back and drop a banger. You be like, dang.
No, real talk, because he's a master and he puts in the work, and I think that's just the importance of it. And that, again, the artist's way. If you get the book, the very first chapter is morning writings, where you have to write literally 3 full pages of just free thought. And the purpose of it is to kind of clear out your writer's block. And when you write and you free write, you get in a moment of just free thinking and creative just I guess, a creative pull, and allows you to just, you know what I'm saying, do what you do. He does that every day. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, he's the coldest. So, J. Cole.
Yeah, man. Shout out, man. That man Calvin giving him his props gotta be. That's dope, man. But what is... So you told us who Calvin Nellum was.
Yeah, man.
You know. So what is it that you do for the people that may not know? What is it that you do, and why do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a high school teacher, middle school teacher. I've been teaching in Detroit for about 7 years, 8 years in physics, STEM, science. And I teach because I want to give back to my people. I'm a Pan-African in nature, meaning that I believe in the solidarity, the peace, and just the love of black people, of all black people, not just in America, but also all over. And you know what I'm saying? Like every day, like I feel like I'm doing God's work. I'm in front of my people every day. I'm teaching kids every day. And every day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't easy, but like I'm seeing the issues, I'm seeing the problems, and I feel like I'm solving them. And that's just something that like not something that I hold my hat to, but it's just something that I'm proud of doing, and I'm happy that I'm learning how to do. Even after only being able to do that for 7 years. So being a teacher, being a mentor, I'm a coach, podcaster.
Yes, sir.
I'm a husband. I'm a father. You know, I'm I want to be a leader, but I'm also a follower too.
Mm-hmm. Break that down, because like I know what you mean to a certain extent when you say that, but you hear a lot of times like, man, you such a follower, you such a follower. So for you saying you feel like you're a leader, but you're also a follower as well. So break that down in what you mean when you say that. So you
have to be in a position where like, I feel like whenever you get a job, or if you get an opportunity, or if you get money, or if you get like anything that's like rewarded or a blessing, you got to recognize like that's just limited.
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not going to last forever. And so like you have to be like, what can I do to make sure that I can put myself in position to make this job better for the next person? So kind of thinking outside yourself. So really just understanding like everything has its time. And so like you have your time. So like for example, going back to what I was saying about J. Cole, going back to J. Cole, right? So doing Born Sinner, like he was a B-list celebrity. He wasn't like considered a top one, you know, top three, you know, but now it's his time, right?
Yeah.
And now because it's his time, everyone has their time, but if you're ready when that time comes, then that's when you prevail. A lot of people don't be ready when that time comes.
Yeah. His
time is coming. Now he's prevailing, right? And so, like, for me, I just really just want to make sure, like, it's not for me. It's not about me being my prime, or me trying to, what's the word? Be the best I can be when my time comes. My whole goal is honestly just getting people to the peace so they can get to their point. So where they can, when their time comes, they can, we reach the benefits of it. That's really my goal. My goal is to really like heal people and get people to understand like life is more than just like materials. Life is really a journey of like ups and downs, and like if you can get through that roller coaster and not fall off, you can really like grow. And that's like the beauty. And that's why that's my goal. That's my point in life. I've been through a hurricane, you know what I'm saying? My dad was in my life. I lost my brothers who just gangs and like drugs and shit, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, my mom had a master's degree plus 30. My education was the goal. And so I was still able to have a very eclectic, balanced life, but at the same time understand like life ain't about materials. It's really just about learning in that journey. Yeah,
for sure. And you said something earlier about your upbringing and how, like, you came from a, privileged background. And a lot of times, in our community, when they hear that, it's like, oh, man, he's soft, or like, he don't know what it's like. But like you just said, if you don't say that part about losing your brother, not having your dad in your life, and even though we've kind of made it the norm of not having black fathers around and stuff or even with violence like gangs, like we've made it such a norm to where it's like when you, like a guy that I know that's like a big brother to me, he was like, people are in toxic situations for so long that when something peaceful and calm and something good comes along, it's like they think that's the toxic thing because this is normal. So for your life and understanding like, hey, I came from this background, what were some struggles that you had to overcome, understanding that I come back from a good background, and like also
that's a good question.
Like, what are some things that you feel like get misconstrued, or like there are some misconceptions about coming from a privileged background because I'm Black?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess the biggest thing was just like understanding like we all want love. So just as much as like the people who are from that are trying to be that so they can feel like in community, the same thing for the people who are not from that. They feel the same way. Like, I want to feel love too. Like, I don't want to feel like an outcast. It's really just all about love and not feeling like differences. Like, a lot of people would just like, for example, so I grew up in West Bank in New Orleans. West Bank is in Jefferson Parish / Orleans Parish. But if you think about it, it's pretty much the suburbs, right? But at the same time, though, you know what I'm saying? Because of Katrina, everybody migrated. So you got people from the city moving to the suburbs, people move to West Bank or whatever, boom, 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 boom. And so just like Detroit, you have like people of different socioeconomic status living right next to each other.
Yeah, facts. So
I'm growing up, Liver Days, 8th grade, kids looking at me, they looking at my Reeboks, they got G-Nikes on, they looking at me like, oh, you from Park Place, you from Park Place, you soft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I am soft because I didn't grow up fighting. You know what I'm saying? My dad was in my life. That's why I'm soft. You know what I'm saying? It's because like I just didn't grow up fighting like that. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Whenever fighting will come, I'll start crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just like how I was. Doesn't mean that I didn't have the line in me. That doesn't mean I didn't have that line in me once I started playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? I developed that, but at the same time, like, I think what a lot of kids just don't. Kids are just mean. You know what I'm saying? Kids are just mean. Kids are mean, and they looking for just the weak links just so they can feel better about themselves. Like, hurt people hurt other people.
Yeah, that's
and a lot of the kids that bullied me growing up. I say this funny. I teach those kids.
Yeah. No, that's
you know what I'm saying? And I figured like my brother, who was kind of like popular, who was in gangs, who, you know what I'm saying, was about that life. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order for him to go through, he had to go through that in order for me not to go through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think a lot of people just don't understand, like, we are not a monolith, meaning like it's okay for us to be different. Yeah. And that's what makes us beautiful. And as Black people, we have to understand, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm from this and that, I can love anime just like I'm from the suburbs and still love anime. So that means that's my connection.
Right.
And so, like, my friends growing up were all white kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because those are the only kids that I identify with, because I was a light-skinned kid growing up in New Orleans, and the kids are like, nah, you got to be on that other side because, you know what I'm saying, you different, you talk different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, to give you more context, my mom was a teacher, and so therefore I was able to go to any school.
Right.
But I didn't go to the school of my district. I went to inner city schools, and so I went to New Orleans Public School, even though I lived in Jefferson Parish. And so me going to New Orleans Public Schools, automatic off jump, I was a target off jump because I talk different, my light skin, my hairs, my shoes. You know what I'm saying? And so at the same time, I had to survive. So as a third grader, instead of me trying to plead, I had to assimilate. I had to figure out how to talk like them. I had to figure out how to dress. Mom never bought me the clothes, so that was no way I could dress like them. But the talking piece, or figuring out how can I get a friend that's of that tribe that can connect with me, you know what I'm saying? That can hopefully, you know what I'm saying, you know, keep me where I need, help me navigate. And in this question, I guess I'll say it just really taught me how to just be diverse. Learn multiple language of the same language. Learn how to code switch. Learn how to, you know what I'm saying? Just learn street smarts, right? And being able to navigate those different spaces, but at the same time, respect the spaces.
Yeah, man. And I think a lot of times, like, when you come from a situation like you have, like, you grow up in the suburbs and you Black, and I think a lot of times the misconception is, like, because of what we have been through as a society of Black people, some people, they won't say it verbatim or they won't say it at all, but in their minds they feel like we're not allowed to move to the suburbs, or we're not like owed this, or like I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel like I feel like I'm doing my community a disservice if I go and move to another city that's not Detroit. I feel like I'm doing my city a disservice, or my community, my society disservice, if I don't do the quote unquote normal things that our society may, you know, highlighter. Like, oh, you gotta hoop. Like, what if I don't want to hoop?
Yeah,
like,
but there's a lot of truth to that, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that we gloss over because of capitalism, because of materialism, and because of the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
We don't understand that we literally took a bunch of people from countries, from a continent, put them here, took their culture, and said, live here, and figure that shit out.
Right. Yeah.
Figure your education out. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And still to this day, we are facing the repercussions of that.
Yeah.
Still to this day, Detroit is facing the repercussions of white flight. Still to this day, dog.
And we still, like you say, still trying to figure it out, because I think I don't expect me to have it all together at 24. Just like I don't expect the 50-year-old to have it. As crazy as that sounds, but it's still 50-year-olds learning. So I don't expect the kid who's 15 who is around, a certain environment. Let's say he's, he lives in the city, he lives in the hood, and he like, this is all he see. You can only model what you see. So that's what you were doing. It's not like you woke up and was like, like how you do on a video game. You can choose these different attributes, and you went on a website. It was like, oh, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. This is my life. This is who I am. And as you were a kid, you were under your mother's rules and regulations. So it's like when you get out into the world, or like when you get out on your own, then you decide, like, okay, you learn different things along the way. Just like me, I tell people all the time, like, there are some things that I will hold near and dear to me that I will implement when I become a father. But there's some other things that it's no knock against my parents. It's just, I don't think that's going to help my child, because you got to think we in different eras. So like, for example, right, me, even at 24, like, I see certain kids, how they disrespect their parents, or like just how things are. It don't even necessarily have to be disrespect. It's just like how certain things are. But sometimes that's all kids know. Like, oh, you like that. But it's like, I think we got to stop painting this narrative that, like you said, basically I got to be the same as Calvin. Like, I can not really, I can disagree with you without disrespecting you. Like, I can say, well, no, I ain't into anime, but I do like basketball. Or like, understand, like, even though we have differences, even though our skin color is the same, like, I'm not tripping on you or taking your black card because, like, we joke around. Like, my girl, for instance, like, she haven't seen Friday before. She haven't seen a lot of the movies that you would think, like, just off the strength of not, this is a famous movie. You more so pointed at it as a culture thing. Like, you ain't seen Johnson's Family Vacation. You ain't seen Friday. You ain't seen, you know what I'm saying? But she just ain't seen it. But that don't take away from her being a part of the culture, or her being black, or, get what I'm saying? Like, I think we gotta, kill that narrative of like, oh, you grew up in this town. Because who's to say that you didn't go through anything? You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing.
So exactly, brother, man. And so going back to what I was saying about like me being able to like be very transient, right? I would learn like a lot of the things that I liked was similar to, like, what I'm saying, the same kids like that was staying in Hollygrove. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the exact same thing, right? And so a lot of the shit that we believe in is stereotypical. Right. A lot of it's stereotypes. Everyone listens to rap music. Right. Everyone loves Disney Channel. Right. Everyone loved and watched Lion King and Space Jam. Everybody like fried chicken. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are things that we culturally are different, but there are a lot of things that are similar to us that if we just have a simple conversation, we can be like, dang, like, you just like me. And that's me, bro. That is me. My mama always told me, even though my dad was in my life, my brother was like, she always told me never lead with hate. Right. So because of that, I never had judgment. I was always a natural empath. And the empath is someone who always puts yourself in other shoes. Also, because I was bullied a lot, I was always like the outcast. So whenever there was another quote unquote outcast, I would always put myself in the shoes. I always try to get to know the person. I always try to figure out that person. I was just really, just like try to get to that person's point of view. Yeah. And then when I quote unquote became or started to, what's the word when you start, when you start, your flowers start blossoming, or you start growing into your height, or you start getting handsome or whatever. What's the word for that?
Growth spurt.
Yeah, when you reach your growth spurt, then you start getting that other attention, and then you start differentiating like, oh, so you like me because I'm taller now. Oh, you like me because I wear this dress clothes now. Yeah. But then the other people like me because I just was a nice person. The other people like me because I was a genuine person. So what is real love? You know what I'm saying? And so then from there, you just approach everybody as just like a human. You look past their clothes. And so I was telling this funny story of how like when I was growing up, the only thing I cared about was clothes, how I look. And then when I got to college, when I started to find myself more, when I started to get more into science, I remember literally wearing the same clothes for a week straight because I was so engulfed in my studies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the type of like transformation that I had, right? And so it's just like understanding like that's okay, but you're eventually, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna grow out of that things, but you have to understand what your passion is. I think that's like also what my mother also told me, like even though me growing up as like an only child, she never limited me. She never put me in a box. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had a pool stick and I was watching Three Ninjas, I could go to the backyard and just play with a pool stick the whole time and act like I'm a ninja. My mom would let me be a ninja for 4 hours. Right. And then I'll go on Yahoo Video and act like I'm Husher doing the video, doing my moonwalks and shit. And then I'll go downstairs and play my Pokemon and then my Yu-Gi-Oh cards with my little Game Boy, right? And then at the same time I go rent my game. And then I'm playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? So like my mom allowed me to do all those different things, right? And then growing up now, seeing my kids, they don't have that same freedom. Yeah, for sure. You know, and like I just say like I'm blessed, man, and I just really try to give other kids that same. That's why I teach. You know what I'm saying? Try to like let them know like you could. I tell kids all the time like I could beat you in this, I could beat you in that, I could beat you in that, and I could beat you in that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how diverse I am. You know? Yeah.
And I think you hit the nail right on the coffin, man. I think a lot of times you said something about how, like, when you around somebody and you just have a conversation, it's like you get to know them. You're like, oh, we do have a lot of similarities. But I think also you have to understand, like, even if, even if we don't have certain similarities, like, even if you ain't rocking with anime, like me, like, only anime that I really know or, like, can tell you about, like fully is Dragon Ball Z. Okay. And maybe a little bit of Naruto, but that's only because my brother like was a super and probably still is a super anime fan. But like I know about One Piece, but I only know about it because when we used to watch
tells you about it.
Right, everybody talking about it. So it's like I'm kind of forced to know about it, but it's like anime is not my thing. But I'm not knocking my homeboys that, even still to this day, or get on Super Smash Bros. Like, don't get me wrong, I grew up playing Mario and, Luigi, all these different things, but I'm not I was more into like 2K, Fight Night, or Madden. Uncharted, stuff like that. I was terrible at Madden.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, like stuff like that, but I don't have to shun you or knock you because like, oh, you like this, like you ain't black or you not really. Now, this is what I will say.
But kids do that, dog.
Yeah, man.
And you don't have the wrong shoes on, and you can be America's worst enemy to kids.
Yeah, and what people don't understand is like, at the end of the day, you got to realize like I'm not taking away nobody black card because, like I said, the thing about Friday, if you ain't seen All About the Benjamins, you still like that doesn't change. Like that you black. Now I will say this, like I don't know what it's like to not have a father in my life because my dad has always been in my life. Yeah. So I'll never try to tell somebody, well, man, you should that's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. You should forgive your dad. But I don't really know if I'm close to you, then I know what has happened. But I didn't go through that. So I really can't like expound on that. So I understand that piece of like, well, you don't know what it's like growing up this way or growing up here. But I think people have to also, on the flip side of that, understand like, yeah, I may have not went through what you went through, but I went through something.
And then also we need to understand how to teach people too. Yeah, and show people too. My mom showed me how to navigate a lot of those spaces just through her doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom was from the Lafitte Project. She was the first out of 7 kids to get a degree. You know what I'm saying? She cleaned floors. She dropped out of college, then became a teacher. You know what I'm saying? But she taught in the inner city. So she will always, even though she lived in the suburbs, she will always go back and take me. Always go back and take me. And she was still Miss Nija West. Miss Nija West never changed. Yeah. She never changed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, of like letting kids know, like, I tell kids all the time, like, be cool, be calm, and be collected. Yeah. Cool is you. You are already cool. You ain't got to try to be cool. You were born cool. Just be you. You know what I'm saying? Be calm. Do you chill out? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got to go on 100. Just be at 50 or sometimes be at 25. And be collected. Like, understand, like, your 6, understand your front, understand everything. You know what I'm saying? But that cool part of, like, letting them understand, like, we try so hard to be cool. And a lot of my kids are trying so hard to fit in. And the kids who are naturally, because, you know, there's kids who try to fit in. There's kids who are the kids. And then there are kids who naturally are the outcasts because they just can't fit in because it's just...
Yeah, it's not in them, or it's not meant for you to fit in.
And they are so mean to those kids. Yeah. Like, those kids could say, well, shut up. I wasn't talking to you. Like that kid is say, one kid is say something, that same kid is say the same thing, and everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy now because the social skills are not there, and so they're just literally seeing whatever they see on the internet. Oh, that's a weak link. What's what we call, like, you know, just like it's the survival of the fittest mentality of just like I have to take advantage of whoever's the weakest person because I have to feel, I have to act like, I have to perceive that I'm powerful.
Yeah, and I love this quote where it says, like, with all the things to be in the world, be yourself. And I think you said it, and I like how you broke that down, like you compared it to the growth spurt. You gave an analogy of the growth spurt, and I think that's what kids are in right now. And I think it's not even necessarily just a physical growth spurt; it's a mental growth spurt. Like, you trying to find out, like, you ain't gonna be, and I think it's a lot of pressure because you think about it. Like, I hear sports analysts say it all the time, like, man, if AI had social media, just imagine what they would, you know what I'm saying? But you got, you know, even what we would consider the sorriest basketball player is getting a lot of media attention. So you let's say you want to play basketball, or you want to do this, or you want to live this type of life. You in the ghetto and you watching somebody live it up. You only seeing, I don't even know if you're seeing a third of what they've done to get that. You know what I'm saying? So you feeling like, oh, why I gotta go to school and do this? Not saying you gotta go to school to be great or achieve your goals, but like, why do I gotta do this work in order to get, when this looked like this person just did this and it just popped up, not knowing that this took time for me to accumulate this stuff. And it's still taking, you know, a lot of me and time to get to where I'm trying to get and where I've come to now. And I think a lot of times, like, you know, social media plays a big part. And then just like you get into this game of like comparing, but in reality, you know, there's nobody, you know, more like you than you. And there's no need for you to try to sit back and be a copy of somebody else when you can be the first you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, brother.
So I heard you say, which I already, you know, knew from looking at, you know, the different episodes. You got a podcast. What made you say, hey, man, I want to get into this space. I want my own podcast?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think it's just important to understand that, you know, I feel like if you have something to say, you should say it if you follow rules.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I think for me, like, I follow rules. I listen to my favorite podcast, all the episodes. We're on repeat. I do the work. I study. You know what I mean? Like, I try to be media trained. I try to train myself in media train. But honestly, it's just really just like using the power of my voice and being responsible with it, and just letting the world react to it, and just listening to them and just trying it again. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, for example, I came out with a short. I was defining life. So I said something like, life is forever changing, and so you should always change with life, because if you don't change and you're stuck in your ways, life is going to move on, and therefore you're going to you know what I'm saying, be stuck in your ways and be lost, right? And so that was my message. And someone replied in the comment, was like, don't try to define life. Everyone's life is uniquely different, and so therefore you can't define it. And so in my mind, I'm like, yes, I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But if I was on some other type of time of like, I want social media so I can get attention because I'm trying to fill a void, I would have responded in a whole different type of way.
No, for real. Or if you was on the wave, or you know, the energy of like, I'm gonna just go back and forth, or I put this up to get a, you know, and it's nothing.
Yes.
I don't think it's nothing wrong with attention. Like, cause people will hear me say like, bro, I can't stand people who want attention. But I want to clarify that statement. Like, all attention ain't good attention. So I'll preface my statement by saying that. But I think a lot of times, even in the comments, people are looking for an argument, but you just saying it from your point of view. Like, when you talk about change, I heard this guy say, you know, life is always going to be the same because things change. And I'm like, he was like, that's deep. And I was like, I really sat with it because like, that is, and, you know, in my eyes, I agree with that, because life will always be the same because things are constantly changing. That's something that's always happening. Hence the reason why he said, right, you know, life is always going to be the same. But I agree, man. I think, you know, using your platform or your voice, because I've been big on that, like, and it's so crazy because my teachers used to always tell me, like, my teacher, she told me, she was like, you got diarrhea of the mouth and you don't even know, like, when you talking. But she was right, though, because I used to be like a class clown or whatever. Wow. But it's like, they will always tell me, you know, like, you got a voice, but you got to understand when to use it. Like, right now, when we doing work, you can't be talking while I'm talking. But
yeah, absolutely.
I feel like, you know, I got a message and I'm always wanting to speak, you know, life into people and help people out. And do you feel like, because I was, you know, thinking about this, do you feel like there are certain people, not in particular, but do you think everybody should have a platform? Because now we in this space where podcasting is the thing now. Yeah. Every other day, somebody coming out with a podcast, and then you got to kind of decipher it. It's almost like the rapping. Like, everybody a rapper now. Like, yo, go get my mixtape. Like, bro, I definitely just saw you in Myers back in my day. But, like, you get what I'm saying? Or, like, I definitely thought you was, you know, gonna go to USC and, you know, get that full ride scholarship. But not everybody is.
No, it shouldn't be for everybody, because there's rules, and if you don't follow the rules, you're going to hurt yourself or hurt other people. And that's why I feel like, as a teacher, that's why I'm happy I came in as a teacher, because I'm always following rules. When I'm up in front of kids, from how I dress, how I talk, how I carry myself, I have to watch this, watch that. But at the same time, I have to break things down in ways so they can understand it, but still follow those same rules. Media is the same way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you're not just talking to a group of kids, you're talking to everybody. But you got to follow those same rules. So I don't want to talk about Israel and Palestine. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about Black Lives Matter. I might talk about Black Lives Matter, but I'm not going to talk about Israel and Palestine, because that's not my goal. That's not for me to talk about. That's for someone else to talk about. You got to understand that, and you got to be okay with that. Yeah. You got to be okay with that. Sometimes we be so mad that we can't say something about stuff. Yeah. We mad we can't say something. But it's ain't for you to say it. Yeah. And sometimes you got to be okay with that. Sometimes you got to take the L, right? For another example, I had lost like 50 subscribers at one point when I was like studying for a test. And I had used like the J. Cole mindset of just like, and Kendrick does this a lot too, of just like, when they put music out, they leave for like 5 years and they come back rejuvenated and renewed, because they are like, you know what I'm saying? They in a lab, right? Yeah. And so my whole mind, I'm like, okay, I lost those 50 subscribers. I'm going to have to just get them back. And I got them back. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just like that mindset of just like, you controlling the algorithm versus you being reactive to the algorithm. I think that's key. A lot of people, first of all, you got to understand that the algorithm is more prone to negativity. And a lot of people are prone to being more negative, or putting out negative, or being more provocative just to get views. And that's the easiest trap. Yeah. That's the easiest trap to get canceled. It's the easiest trap to lose your job. It's the easiest trap to piss somebody off that's going to be at your door. You know what I'm saying? And so you want to make sure that like you in it for the right reason, understand your mission. My mission for Calvin Nellum Podcast is to provide simple solutions, not only in the classroom, but just provide simple solutions for people and help people understand, like, you know what I'm saying? Celebrities and rappers and everyone else, they got insight, but the people right next to you also got insight. The custodian people also got insight. The people that that work at Family Dollar got insight. The police officers got insight. The custodian people got insight. A lot of those people also got insight. So let's try to figure out how we can all get insight. You know what I'm saying? And maybe use it so we can maybe not just get $1 million, but just be fucking happy.
Yeah, no, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Or just be at peace. You know what I'm saying? Or just like be able to just go outside and just walk and just be quiet. Like a lot of my kids can't even just be quiet for like 20 minutes because they got so much noise in their lives, right? You know what I'm saying? So like my mission for my podcast is to not just like be preachy and like tell you information and give you solutions. I did say that. Also my podcast is to let you know that I don't got all the solutions and you don't got all the solutions. It's okay to not have all the solutions sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't put that pressure on you. Sometimes it's okay to say I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been saying I don't know, I'm sorry, I apologize for the last 2 years because I've been taking so many L's, but I'm still at peace with myself. I'm not judging myself. I'm not what's the word, having low self-esteem, because we have to understand that we're not perfect and we're gonna make mistakes, especially in this world that's imperfect, that perceives to be perfect. There's no in a world that we can try to be perfect in an imperfect world. So just understand you're gonna get the losses and you're gonna have a lot of wins, and when you have the wins, like celebrate that.
Yeah.
Cause I party, bro.
Yeah, it's a part of the growth spurt, like you said. And I think going back to something that you said about, you know, realizing that, not everybody should have a platform, because like I was talking to one of my good friends about this. I remember when I first started my podcast in 2021, and like a big inspiration for me to start it was, one, I want to, you know, find another way, a platform to use my voice, because I had my motivational page on Instagram. But I was like, man, I kind of want to like just have a conversation that I'm having with my girl, my friends, my, you know, group chat with the fellas or whatever. It's like, man, we got a lot of stuff that we talk about, and I want to kind of bring this, because like it's crazy now. Like my friends, they be laughing at me or getting on my head about it. What? Like, bro, like every time we have a conversation, you always talking about like, that's a good idea for the podcast, because it's just like, it's intriguing conversations, and just like you just kind of want to see where people at with it, or like when they hear your point of view. I never speak from a standpoint of like, I want you to take my side or I want you to believe as that I believe. I just want you to hear how I feel about it, and then let's exchange, whether that's in the comments, whether you disagree or agree or not. But I think I kind of sort of, I'm twofold with this thing. Like when I asked you about like, does everybody need a platform? Because I heard Aries Spears, the comedian, talking about this, and he was like, you know, everybody, I miss it like back in the day when not everybody could have a platform. But I would say this, I do think it's kind of becoming trendy, and you got to kind of ask yourself, like, why am I doing, well, not just a podcast, but anything that we do, we got to ask, what is my end goal? Like, what is my why? Like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this to get attention from people? Am I doing this to get likes? Am I doing this because I don't have nothing better to do, or do I have a message behind it? And I think my older cousin taught me this. Like, he was saying, like, it's okay. Like, a lot of times people feel like, oh, well, if Calvin gotta be rich, like he gotta want to take this podcast to the next level so he can fly around the world. Like, but what if you just want to get on, set your equipment up, put out episodes, and be good? But it's like, oh, you failing in life, you not succeeding. But it's like, I think a lot of people got to understand, whatever your why is, that's okay, because that's your life. Now me, I do my podcast, one, because I feel like I have a message, and then a bigger reason is because I want to use my voice in a positive way. And kind of what you said, I wouldn't, you know, use that terminology of following the rules per se, but I would say that I'm doing this because this is a part of my message. This is a part of me using the platform that I enjoy, that I really love, loving the craft of it, and getting my message out, and talking about different things that maybe go unsaid or go unheard, or having people on that, you know, in other rooms, their opinion may not be valuable, because a lot of times, like I heard Matt Barnes say, you know, a lot of times we'll kill the message because we don't like the messenger. And so you completely miss a learning experience.
But that's also part of the rules, though. And then we also got to understand about following rules, that the rules are forever changing.
Yeah.
Because before all the smoke, probably 10 years ago, you could never smoke on TV.
Right.
You understand
Right,
what I
right.
mean? Because the rules changed now, you can now do that.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's about not being tone deaf, right? Being within the mold, being educated online. Like the difference between going to school and being educated, right? Going to school is just you getting skills so you can apply it, so you can get the transaction.
Right.
Education is like you're critically understanding how this applies now and how this may change in the near future, and you're preparing yourself for the near future. That's what education does, right? And so with this voice, with this platform, it's just like you can't just go, on a plane and say certain words because that has certain reaction, because your power has where I told one of my kids, he was like, he said, he told one of the kids he was going to hurt him. He didn't say hurt, he know what he said.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't say that. He was like, Miss, no, I was just playing. But I was like, your words have power.
Yeah.
And you see how powerful your words are, just bringing us together and we're having the same conversation about how your words have power. That's how powerful your words are.
Yeah.
And there are people with platforms that even though they mean well, they're still splitting toxicity, toxicity, within the mediums, and it's not helping. It's too much of an imbalance. I'll give you a great example. I don't know if you've seen the episode of Joe Budden Podcast when he had the dude on from BS High.
No.
So BS High was pretty much a prep school scandal, football scandal, where a coach literally, created a school and literally, what's the word I'm looking for? Lied about the kids' actual attributes, and they were playing against like actual like 5-star school recruit teams.
Yeah.
And they were on ESPN, like literally like playing against these teams. But he lied about like you know what I'm saying? Like he was a con artist.
Yeah.
And he literally implicated kids.
Yeah. Terrible.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like a bozo, like a goofy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you want to shake this dude's hand. Yeah. This dude was on Joe Budden Podcast. This dude was like, they were like clapping for this dude, like glorifying this dude. He was like, everyone should have their, point to, what's the word? Say their side of the story, but at the same time, content is king, but at what cost?
Right.
And like from ever since watching that episode, now I look at that podcast differently, and that's the power of your words. That's the consequence. Every word has a consequence, and you got to understand, like, whatever I'm about to say has a consequence, and if I'm willing to accept that, that's just what it is.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think, now me personally, like I said, I'm twofold with it. Like, I'm not gonna knock you for saying what you, because a lot of times it's like I always go back to sports. Like, you gotta be LeBron, you know what I'm saying, to speak out. But if, you know what I'm saying, and I think that's the reason why people get their own platforms, because it's like if I say this on ESPN, a guy like Stephen A, no disrespect to him, they gonna eat me alive because I'm not a KD, I'm not a LeBron.
Right.
But you thinking about, you averaged 6 points, how could you get on? But I made it to the league. Like, let's talk about that. Like, I made it to the league.
It's also who's the messenger too. A lot of people don't want certain people saying it.
Exactly.
It's also who's saying it.
Right.
They don't want you saying it, even though what you're saying is probably right.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. And that's like, is he wrong because
he's wrong, or is he wrong at the wrong time?
You don't like him, like,
right, exactly,
or like you said, at the wrong time. So I think a lot of times we gotta.
It's politics. That's politics. That's what that is
for sure.
But if you're not politically active, if you're not aware of the politics, if you're not politically, aware, you're gonna make mistakes and not even know it. Yeah,
and I think that's a big, key to what you said about following the rules. But I don't. Now I will say,
or just being educated. That's really one thing we're like. Being educated, like, for example, again, bro, like, when you walk in certain spaces, when you go to certain neighborhoods, when you go to certain, like, you just change up because you just know how to navigate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just simple as that. And it's the same thing with your words.
Yeah. And I think, a big thing is understanding, like, like I said, I feel, if you want to create your platform, create it. But
what is it from, though? What is it off of? What is the foundation from? Is it rooted in love, or is it rooting off you being clout chasing? Is it rooted in love, or is it rooting on you trying to just get attention? Is it rooted in education and love, or is it rooted in you trying to prove something.
Right.
Because that's also reactive. What's the proactivity of it, right? You know, I started my podcast because I was hearing gunshots I never heard ever before in my life.
Right.
I started hearing gunshots time I moved to Detroit, and I ain't gonna front and say that Detroit is not, you know what I'm saying, what it is, but Detroit's also very peaceful too. But like just that overall dynamic, I as a teacher, I was like, my kids live through this. My kids hear gunshots every day, and they walk in my class like ain't shit happened.
Right.
But if I was in their shoes, I'll be traumatized.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How are you able to come to me and still be you? I'm curious about that. Let's talk about that. But at the same time, though, with that being said, with the rules of being said, you have to understand your environment and understand like you are a student first. Yeah. And that what we do a lot, right? I've been watching a lot of these like gang documentaries. I don't know if you've seen like the King Long documentaries or the documentaries about this rapper who was a previous stepper and he had this many bodies and this many. You see those documentaries, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's a fatuation for culture. There's a fatuation for gang culture. There's a fatuation for what the environment or people who are products of their environment and what they produce based off their certain circumstances. Yeah. We got to be careful with that too because they ain't no fucking parents. Right. They ain't no, you know what I'm saying, content junkies. You just take content from them for your own for your own good. Yeah. There's a lot of people like that too, just ripping off content just because content is king versus like understanding like if I rip this off, what is the consequence of that?
Yeah, facts.
If I talk about this, what's the consequence of that? You know, there's rules to that, and that is what I've learned from being in Detroit. For my 7 years of being in Detroit, I say that I've been an experienced teacher, but I'm still just getting started because there's still so much I still haven't learned.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Follow the rules.
Steadily though, like don't be like I be telling my kids like chill, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 1, 9, 50, 64, 5,000. It's not that, bro. Yeah, you gotta chill, bro. You know. Yeah, that's how I've been navigating, man. Some other people never move differently. Some people need a piece on them to move differently. Me, I just, you know, use my logic, but you know, people different. You know.
Why do you call yourself the healing artist? Why has that been your
so
nickname?
First it was a teacher activist, and then recently me going through therapy, it was a healing activist because I've been fighting for so much. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you go through a fight don't last forever. You know what I'm saying? Eventually you're gonna have to pause and you're gonna have to heal. Yeah, for sure. And that's just where I'm at right now. Like, and so like I had therapy. And I was talking about like my brother who was like, you know, never in my life, talking about my dad who I've seen like 7 times in my life, but literally lived 15 minutes around the corner from me my entire life. And like when she was asking me those questions, like I felt like a baby, you know what I'm saying? Because like I was getting emotions that I felt when I was a baby that I never tapped into. Yeah. You know? And why? Why was I holding that for so long? Why was I focused on being successful for so long? Why was I so hardworking for so long? Why wasn't my dad there for me to have those conversations so we can get that shit fixed? So maybe I have a little bit more confidence the days I didn't have confidence. Why wasn't my brother there when I needed, you know what I'm saying? That day when I got cut from the freshman team and my Uncle Stanley was there to help me out versus you being there. Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? What could have been different? You know, and so like what my therapist told me was like, you just have to accept the fact that you just never gonna have a bond with them, and you gotta stop being wishy-washy, Calvin. You know, and just like me coming to that is me healing. You know, and so for that, I just say like I tell people like, you know, therapy and me just starting like I'm a rookie, but you're not gonna solve all your problems through talking them too. Sometimes you're just gonna have them, and it's really coping. Yeah, you know,
and I think it goes back to what you said about your brother. Like he went through what he went through, so you didn't have to. And I think you dealt with the stuff and are dealing with the stuff that you're going through, so your kids or your students don't have to. So man, I love that, man.
Thank you. Yeah,
you know that's pretty
much
finger snaps, man. Got to do that one. Thank you. I think that's gonna be a big example if it's already happened. I'm sure it is. You know,
but I still got demons though.
Yeah, for sure.
They're there. And I think what a lot of people do wrong, and I mean to cut you off, is that we say we don't have demons versus understanding we do have demons. And then we just got stages we go through. And that's just one thing I'm just learning. I don't know. Yeah. It may be different for you, but I just feel like, you know, you know, you just like we got good and evil within us.
Yeah,
and
man.
Like we all have to be honest about our feelings and honest about our emotions and being able to navigate those things and use our free will and not be reckless abandon like a lot of our mentors, a lot of our peers, or a lot of our people did, you know?
Yeah, man. Life is a hill full of ups and downs, man. At the end of the day, life is definitely a hill. So now, what we're going to do, man, this is what we typically do at the end of the show. We're going to play a game called Let Me Get to Know You, man. So here we go.
Okay.
The first question. Other than J. Cole, who is somebody that's in your rotation? Earl Sweatshirt. Why Earl Sweatshirt?
Earl Sweatshirt is the son of a PhD UCLA professor, and he's also the son of one of the world-renowned African poets in Africa.
Oh, that's dope. I never knew that.
Yeah, so Earl Sweatshirt is a very, very, very amazing writer, but he's also like one of the best rappers out right now. But he struggled with a lot of like drug addiction growing up. He was sent to a boot camp in Hawaii at a very early age because of a lot of his upbringing. Just like a lot of decisions growing up. But Earl Sweatshirt, man.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I haven't really listened to him like that. But it's a good choice. I don't go outside by Earl Sweatshirt. Bet. I'm gonna put that in the rotation. Who is the two teams that will be in the NBA Finals this season?
Nuggets and the Celtics. Sorry, my Warriors. Yo, that's trash right now.
Yeah, man. I think that
and Draymond Green is crazy.
The headlock was kind of wild.
Oh my God, what is wrong with him?
I think this is the thing. Like, I don't think Draymond is doing something that's like unlike Draymond. I just think the headlock was a bit too much, whether it was for Draymond or anybody.
Why?
I think that was just too much.
That was too much, bro.
I think the Warriors era is done, and I think
It's
that's why
done. I feel like it's done, bro.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I wouldn't say the Nuggets are gonna be in the thick of things. Yeah, oh, man. I was trying to play it cool, but
you good, big dog.
But
that out.
I definitely want to see the Celtics there because my boy JT is there. So,
he is MVP. You got Jaylen Brown. You got
man. We got Drew Holiday.
Is that your team?
Yeah, this is the thing. I can't even believe I said we though, because I haven't had a favorite team since.
Don't say Melo.
Nah. I would say. For me,
I'm a heavy NBA fan, bro.
I would say since the 2012 Thunder.
You want to get you some tissue?
Yeah.
Go ahead, big dog.
Hold on. I don't know if we could cut this real quick. Pause it so I can get some tissue.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we just gonna redo that.
Okay.
About the game at the end.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Got you, big dog, man. I ain't gonna let you go out like that,
For
man.
sure,
I ain't gonna let
man.
you go out like that, bro.
Gotta take a quick break, but We back with the Let Me Get to Know You game. So, first question, who out of your favorite rappers besides Cole would you say that you rock with?
So it definitely. I'm sorry, I'm just going to list for this. Hold on. Let me go to my. Let me check.
It get like that, man. I definitely got a list of my favorite artists and actors and all of that.
It's the boy, man. It's Drake, man. Drake, man, for all the dogs, man. Man. He got a lot of heat for that, man. Album cold, man.
No, I say what I will say about his album. Like, I think to me it was a 7.5 out of 10
that's
because,
good.
like, yeah, that's solid.
Good.
That's solid. But I think a lot of people was like looking for it, like how they were talking about it as the build up came, like, oh man, it's gonna be like back in the day Drizzy. But like my cousin said, like, yeah, I don't think he could ever. It's not to say that he's not talented anymore, but I don't think he could go back to Nothing Was the Same.
And who wants to do that? Who wants that? Who wants old Drake right now? Yeah, do you want the old you?
Nah.
Would you want that? You like, hey, I want to get the old chance of like old me. I want a little bit of that. No. Who wants that? Like, that's whack. And that's the same thing with, like, I guess, especially when you're making music. Like, first of all, you ever make music before? Nah. Never even. You create, right? You ever create something before. Yeah. Some things need to just be spirit of moment, inspire, and you go from here, go from that, and you pick it back off this, and you get that, and then you make this, and then does that sound good? Then you play it again, and it sound good again, and then you get this dude to listen to it, then you get a vocalist, you get a singer. Like, it's not like, I want to make the song that I made from my previous album, so I'm going to make this song that sound like this. It don't work like that. Yeah. It's way more intricate. It's way more authentic. It's way more concrete. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, when we think like that, we don't appreciate the music enough. Yeah. Because the music is good, dog. The music is good, man. Drake, man. The boy. And this dude has came up with 3 albums in the last 3 years.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Like, who's doing that? Decent music. Come on, bro. Very few. The boy.
Your finals prediction, NBA finals prediction.
Shit. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say, man. Oh man. It's not gonna be the Bucks. It's not gonna be the Bucks. Even though how many 3-pointers damn near little shoot. It's not gonna be the Bucks. Sheesh. It's definitely gonna be the Nuggets. And the Celtics. Nuggets and the Celtics.
I think we was robbed of that last year, but I won't say people was behind the scenes cheating, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Heat came in and surprised everybody. But
I was thinking about that one. I thought that was our momentum swing. I keep saying we, but I really don't have a favorite team. I'm just a Jason Tatum fan, but that would have been.
I'm a Jason Tatum fan too.
That would have been epic. If that would have been a nice matchup. I think they would have matched up a little bit better than the Heat against the Nuggets. But shout out Jokic for getting 2 MVPs, the Finals MVP and
the Nuggets are dangerous. You play 2K?
Oh, for sure. I haven't played in a while, but
okay. Don't get the new one because you'll break your TV. It's too real. It's too hard. Like, you literally have to get green for everything. You got to get green for layup. You got green for running. You got to get. I'm just joking. You got to get green for shooting. Like, it's the hardest game ever, and the computer makes everything. And the different Nuggets are hard to beat.
That's gonna be crazy. I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. I would say the Celtics or the Bucks, just because the spacing on the floor, when the Bucks really, find their niche and they get, everything where it needs to be running smoothly, I think they're going to be dangerous. And they missing a lot of defense with Drew.
It's not enough shooting, though. It's not enough shooting. Like, you have to understand, like, now we're at a point now where motherfuckers are making 160 during the game. They're scoring 150 points.
That's right.
150 points divided by 4 is what? How many points is that? That's 37 points a quarter. So you're scoring 40 points a quarter. 40 points a quarter, what's that? Divide by 3. That's 13 threes if I die. What's that? That's 22s. So that means you're probably making half of that. So you got to make 10 threes to 10 twos every quarter. That means this no longer works no more. Just like putting the hand up in the air, that doesn't work anymore. It's literally just, am I on? Or am I off?
Nah, for real
That's
though.
it.
I would say
That's it.
I would say my predictions out the West.
That's the clip, bro. That's the clip they shoot from.
No, that is kind of wild because somebody was just talking about like how the games are more high scoring now. But I would say out the West, I wouldn't count out Denver.
Denver.
I don't know about Phoenix, man. They whole roster. This looked like a repeat of the Brooklyn situation, honestly. But
I like them a little bit better because I like Devin Booker.
Yeah. The boy's been hurt, man.
But no, it's Denver because of Jokic.
Yeah, I would say Denver can't be counted out. Another team, I'm going to go with the Lakers. I think the Lakers come out the West this year. The Lakers come out the West, man.
What? What? Hold on. Why? How, Sway?
I can't never count out Bron. And they got on paper, they got a nice, they got a nice little team.
I'm a LeBron fan, but it's just...
Then you can bring that Lakers and Celtics back.
The Nuggets are there. If the Nuggets weren't there, maybe because the Lakers beat the Warriors last year. So
yeah,
but the Nuggets beat the Lakers last year. The Nuggets are just like what Jokic is doing is like he brought back the big man game now. So before it was like small man game. Giannis kind of brought it back again, but he didn't really. But it was still like a small man game. But Jokic brought the big man game now because literally. He can literally get you in the post 4 times, get 8 points, and then back up and get a 3. That's 11 points off of that's demoralizing. Like you have to have a 7-footer to stop him, and you also have a 7-footer that can go out on the wing to block the 3. That's hard.
Yeah, Jokic's different.
Jokic is different, and he passing. He passing. He ambidextrous, and he can get you in the post.
Yeah,
just different. like how big is he? How much does he weigh?
I don't know, man. I just know that's a bad man on the court, man. That man different for sure.
So I guess the conclusion would say Jokic is a beast. The Celtics, if they do, they will be playing against them. If Jalen Tatum will get the MVP, Wembanyama's probably gonna make an All-Star team this year.
Sheesh.
Or NBA All-Team, and the Warriors are done.
That's his assessment from the NBA season. But, bro, I definitely want to say thank you for coming to the pod, bro.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Y'all go support Calvin Nellum Podcast, man. Please do that.
Please.
Thank y'all for pulling up to the podcast. We'll see y'all same time, same place. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Sorry I talked too much.